Good morning. It's Sunday morning, 6:15. I just got back from a 2-hour drive on a highway. I have a 2014 Ram 2500 with 6.7 Cummins. I had a check engine light, P2201. That was my check engine light code. This all started a little over a year ago. So first of all, first couple times I took my NOX sensor out. It was for bank 1 NOX sensor. That was the code, P2201. I try to clean it. I've watched YouTube videos, other YouTube videos, and they say, hey, clean it with this, soak it in, this. I've done it. It was a temporary fix. My check engine light kept coming back. So it happened 2 or 3 times like that. Then I end up calling all dealerships, multiple auto parts stores. And I decided to get a NOX sensor from Napa Auto Parts. Since they looked it up with my VIN number, they said, hey, this is the correct part, come get it. And it was probably at the time was like probably $150 cheaper than a dealer. And I believe I paid like $750 for it. So anyway, went to Napa Auto Parts, picked it up, put it in, drove it for like 100 miles. I thought, oh, hey, everything was good to go. But one day I was getting on a freeway, I punched it, check engine light came on. So I put my scanner in, same code. So I tried to clean it, put it back in. The light went away, another 100 miles. I thought it was good. Everything was fine and good. Eventually I had to, eventually came on, and I eventually had to smog my truck. I'm in California, so the laws are very strict here to get the smogs. So anyway, long story short, I went swapped it out under warranty. It was lifetime warranty. They gave me another one. I put it on, put 200 miles, and the check engine light came on again. I was like, okay, what's going on? So this is almost over a year now, and I really had to get my truck smogged. I got 1 more week before my tags expires. So what I end up doing is called all the dealership. Nobody had those sensors in stock except one dealership, like 4 towns away from me. It was a 2-hour drive for me. So I drove out there, and in between that, I ended up cleaning. I looked at my downpipe, and there was another little sensor. I pulled it off, looked like a probe. Actually, it was an exhaust gas temperature sensor. I tried cleaning that with a brake clean, put it in through a separate check engine light code for that, and it said exhaust temperature sensor. I was like, okay. So when I was at the dealership, I bought both parts. So brand new sensor was $2,400 at dealership. They give you $400 core for your old sensor, so which is $1,800. Or you can get a remanufactured one from a dealer, which was, I believe, a little over $1,100. It was like $1,153 or $79, something like that. With the $400 core, I ended up paying for both sensors. I paid like $900 out the door with tax. Came home the same day, replaced it, cleared all the check engine light with my scan tool right here. I put about 420 miles before that very bottom left sensor activated, the NCA one. So California law, if you go on Bureau of Automotive Repair website, it tells you in 2014, and I think other years as well, the HCC, that's the NOX aftermath, it's a manufacturer defect. It will never turn green no matter how many miles you drive. So by law, they let you pass with that one sensor being X'd out, not being activated. And also 2007 and newer trucks, Cummins or any trucks, I guess, you can have 2 sensors not activated. One is clearly says on that website PM, that's particulate matter filter, and the other one's NOX aftermath for Dodge specifically. So these are very specific to Dodge Ram trucks. So these 2, so basically I'm good to go to smog right now. I'm about a week past my registration expired. So it's Sunday, so tomorrow morning, Monday morning, first thing I'm doing is driving to a smog shop and getting this thing smogged. Another thing, while I was doing test drive with the Napa sensor, the DTC code on the right side on the top where it says 0 and is green used to go orange and used to say 1 after like a couple hundred miles, or even like after 150 miles or 200 miles. So, and even there's no check engine light on the dash. I knew that was coming. Eventually it would come and throw check engine light on my dash. So if you take it to a smog shop and that thing's orange, and they'll plug it into their scanner and they'll fill you right away. But now with this, the way it shows on my scanner, this basically says I can go and get it smogged and I should pass. There shouldn't be any problem. I did call 5 smog shops, 5 different ones. 2 gave me the correct answers, exactly what it said on the Bureau of Automotive Repair website, and they said bring it, we'll pass it once you get those activated. Others, they're just kind of didn't want to give me the answers. I don't know if they, they don't want to get into debate and buy automotive repair or Bureau of Automotive Repair and lose their license or whatever, but they didn't want to give me clear information over the phone. One shop just told me, hey, everything needs to be green, So, but 2 large shops where it's not owner operated, it's a bunch of employees in there. They have like 7 different locations here locally, and both of them said 2 different corporation. They both said, yep, you're exactly right, whatever the Bureau of Automotive Repair says. PM and then NOX aftermath, if they're still crossed out and not activated, we'll still smog in and pass you for that. So that's where I'm going. So to activate these sensors, basically you got to mimic all the driving conditions. So just because you drive on the freeway every day, same driving pattern, some sensors won't activate. The hardest ones would be, they're not hard. You just got to drive it, and you got to drive in a city. You got to mimic a traffic city conditions. You got to drive along highway or freeway conditions. You got to do a lot of stop and go, like in a neighborhood. What I found out by doing a lot of research, some of the key speed limits: 15 miles, 25 miles, 30 miles, 40 miles, 45 miles, 50 miles. These are your key speed limits. You got to understand, and all of these sensors take different speed limits and different driving behaviors to complete. Chrysler and Dodge, they have a lot of, it's the same company, so they have a lot of similar. If you Google it and find some good information, I found out actually one of smog shop here in California had a very good detailed information how to drive for for Chryslers and Dodge and get these sensors to activate. Get your engine temperature or coolant temp. You see it's 192 right in the middle of the screen. So get it warmed up, and you go for you drive it for 15 miles per hour for 2 minutes. Then you stop and sit for 30 seconds. Then you drive 30 miles for 2 minutes. Then you gradually speed up to 40 miles for 2 minutes, and that'll activate one of them. The next one was, go 60 miles per hour, let go of your gas pedal, coast down to at least 20 miles per hour. That will activate I believe it was EGR one. Next one is, drive on a freeway for 15-20 minutes at 60 miles or whatever. That activates another one. And the other ones just stop and go driving. So they're newer vehicles are very vehicle specific, the way activates. Back in the days, Hondas and Toyotas, if you have a check engine light or you change your battery out or you reset your computer, you drive it for 60, 70, 80 miles and it resets all your sensors, you get it smog. All these newer vehicles, I would say anything after 2007 and newer, they're very sensitive. Another thing I've learned, do not clean any of your sensors. It will not help you at all. I don't care what videos you watch. Sensors are very finicky. They're very sensitive. They do not like to be cleaned. They'll get damaged. They will read incorrectly, and they will throw check engine light codes. Just go ahead and replace it. Best place to get your sensors, I would recommend, is dealership. Second, if you want to do clean stuff, you can clean like on a diesel, like EGR valve. Remember, those are valve. Any valves and stuff, any hard components you can clean. But sensors, basically it's taking reading of, what's the exhaust gas. I mean, there's multiple readings they're taking, and there's a parameter that's been set. If it exceeds the X amount of, carbon or whatever it's detecting, it'll throw a check engine light. So do not clean your sensors. Do not clean your sensors. Get your sensors from dealer. Have them look it up with the VIN number. And if you want to clean something, it has to be a valve or some hard components. And another thing is, when I call a lot of dealerships, their part number was different from the sensor that I had. So I realized the sensor I had was a Cummins NOX sensor on my truck, and one of the dealership was able to tell me what was different. So I think from factory they came with a Cummins NOX sensor, and some of them I believe came with the Mopar NOX sensor. So there's two different part numbers. So when they give you a part number from a dealer at a parts department, when I called over the phone, 4 dealers or 3 dealers, they couldn't tell me. They're like, yeah, I don't know what part you have. It might be aftermarket, this and that. I was like, no, it says Cummins. It looks original when I pulled it off the truck. Luckily, I kept my original NOx sensor when I pulled it off, when I replaced it with the Napa one. So the dealership I ended up going to, they had one in stock, only dealership that had in stock in Northern California. I drove 2 hours. And when they pulled, and they were telling me some Mopar part number as well, but when I took it out of the package, it said Cummins and matched exactly the part number I had on my sensor. And it's the part number's on that little module that's on a NOx sensor, not on a probe or the sensor itself, but there's a little computer module that it's with that sensor, and match exactly. So since I replaced that, no check engine light. Everything's good for me to smog here in California now. So just do a lot of research. Definitely check Bureau of Automotive Repair website for your state. I'm pretty sure they're more lenient in other states. Some state might be more stricter, I'm not sure, but I know California is one of the most strict state for smog. Another thing, anything with the newer trucks with the DEF, do not delete anything. Do not add any aftermarket exhaust. I mean, they're just, these trucks meant to be kept stock, pretty much. No programmers or anything. Don't try to chip it or anything, whatever it is. I used to have a 5.9 Cummins, so it was all souped up. I mean, I used to spend a week swapping back to stock so I can go get it smogged every 2 years. But and then, when you swap everything back to, aftermarket stuff, all the performance stuff, that thing hauled ass. Best truck I ever owned. But this newer stuff, lots to learn, but it's very simple. Get a scan tool, a pretty decent one. It'll help you in the long run, instead of you driving and just guessing and taking to a smog shop and like, oh nope, you still need to activate. And right now, driving on a freeway was my last sensor, that left side bottom, that needed to be activated. So hopefully it helps you out. Any questions, leave a comment. I'll do my best to answer it. And best of luck. Hopefully your truck passes smog and don't have check engine light. So all right, have a great day. Good luck. Please subscribe to my channel and give it a thumbs up.